I really didn't enjoy the work that I was doing, the people that I was seeing. It's the incompatibility of me and my job itself. It's not really about the amount that you earn, because if you cut down your expenses, you live a rather simple life, right? There's not a lot of things to spend on, right? Just merely having the money, I think is where the power is, rather than spending the money on something. But that was where all the intense feelings of, oh, I need more money. And then that's where I dived into like the world of investing, trading, wanting to know more about the stock market. So, okay, at that time I had 20k to my name, and then I was like, okay lah, just put 10k in lor. Like, it doesn't matter, right? If I go bankrupt, whatever, I can earn 20k back, no problem. Everybody thinks they're trading a 9 to 5 for like a flexible work hours. I can work anytime I want. What nonsense, It's just, you're trading it for 24/7. The first thing I think about when I wake up is this, and the last thing before I sleep is this as well. There's no end in between. The biggest thing you can invest in, right, is like your own money earning potential.
How much are you making an hour now? WorldFirst is back with us at TFC today. Yes, for all you aspiring professionals turned business owner and or side hustlers, you will quickly realize that you lose a lot of money simply by moving money around. A few percent here, a few percent there, it adds up. So WorldFirst offers you competitive FX rates for your international transfers starting as low as $1, helping you maximize your money and stay competitive. I will share with you a little bit more about their latest product in the podcast. So meanwhile, let's roll. Welcome back to Chills with TFC. I'm your host, Reggie, aka your Chief Financial Coconut, and today we are in studio with another fellow YouTuber. Right? Is it a fair statement?
Yeah, fair.
Do you associate as a YouTuber?
Yes.
Actually, I don't. I just think of it as like, I'm just hosting. Just so happen it's on YouTube, right? Because I think there's a certain thing about being called a YouTuber. Like you gotta be active in the ecosystem. You gotta like present yourself in a certain way. Right, I don't know, right? So, but anyway, we are in studio with Xuan Kai to once again talk a little bit about his story. How does he do what he do, and then how he manages his money and all that good stuff that all of you love on Chills with TFC. I know. I look at the back end. I know this is what you like, so we'll keep doing it. And if you like this episode, like, share, subscribe, put it out. Okay. So yeah, for our audience that somehow don't know you yet, I think we probably have a lot of overlap audience. But anyway, if they somehow don't know you, could you just do a quick introduction?
I run a YouTube channel at night by the name of Xuan Kai. I do have a full-time job still. I work as a physio in a private side clinic, and then that's in the morning. And whenever I have time, apart from exercising and family, I also have a YouTube channel on the side, which is also called Xuan Kai, by the way. And I didn't want it to start out this way by, going through the personal finance route. But then it was just something that I was interested in, something I was doing. And a person that really motivated me along the way or inspired me is actually someone called Gary V. He's a very big business YouTuber side of things, and one of his biggest lines was document, don't create. So then that was the thing that I was doing. So then I had nothing else to really talk about. So I just naturally went towards that topic of just talking about personal finance.
I think it's like what you say, it's documenting, right? So it's quite candid. You even talk a little bit about how, this wasn't your first channel. You've done other things, So maybe for audience that haven't watched your channel, can you just kind of go a little bit deeper, run us through your backstory, like how do you, what's your profession and all that, and how do you get to where you are now?
I went to physio school back then. So then, of course, when you graduate, you become a physio, right? Then I started work. So last time it used to be in Nanyang Poly, and then it went to SIT, but now it's just a 4-year degree at SIT. That's the way, and that's how I started. And then I started working in a hospital. It was from Tan Tock Seng Hospital. I was really miserable in the hospital. The honest truth was, my colleagues were all really nice people. I loved the team. Like, whenever you needed help, they would come and help you whenever you needed. The only problem was that I really didn't enjoy the work that I was doing, the people that I was seeing. So it's the incompatibility of me and my job itself. That's why I hated it. Not that the hospital was bad or anything. I just really didn't like it that way.
Sure?
That was how I started in the physio side of things. But when I first started, then that's also when money became a real thing. You never really look at these things when you are studying because you take allowance. Then okay lah, just go out with your friends, chill and everything, right? You don't need to worry about money ma. But that was when my first salary came in at that time. Then it was like, I still remember it, it's $2,800. That was like, wow, after CPF, there's not much money left, like, then I have a girlfriend, we go on dates and everything, then you see how much money come in, it's like 2,000 plus, hits your bank, and then at the end of the day, there's just not much left lah. I actually have a thought about this before, was that, number one is not really how much you earn, but it's more like a lot of people, they just have this issue is that if they're working more than they feel that they're compensated enough, that's the, all that intense feelings come from. It's not really about the amount that you earn, because honestly, if you cut down your expenses, you live a rather simple life, right? There's not a lot of things to spend on, right? You just have enough to go around and that's about it, right? But if you feel like you're not paid enough for what you've done, then that's the problem. Or if you're really unhappy with your job, then no amount of money will satisfy you because you're looking in the wrong direction, ma. And I think at that time, I was looking in that wrong direction. But that was where all the intense feelings of, I need more money. And then that's where I dived into like the world of investing, trading, wanting to know more about the stock markets.
Tell me more, because you're not alone. I'm sure a lot of people think like that. Yeah.
Of course, then at that time, you're like, let me find this day trading sort of way, and let me find how can I turn this small amount of money into a big amount of money, For sure, I think the younger that you are, the more naive you will be when it comes to this kind of like trading/investing kind of thing. My horizons used to be really, really short. Like I wanted to earn money from a couple hours to a couple of weeks, not even looking at years, not even looking at months kind of time frame, I just really wanted to enter the stock and exit the stock really, really quickly just to earn a small amount of money. And then with that being said, that's where I dived into the whole personal finance and wanting to day trade myself out of my job. And that's when I realized, okay, I'm still young at that time. I can still take all the risks that I wanted. So then I quit my physio job.
So were you already, was there a system that was working already, or like on what basis do you quit your job?
So there was no system that was working. Absolutely nothing.
I love that. It's like a rash.
The one thing I did do was I was very frugal. I was very prudent. So I think at that time, right, when I really quit my job, I was able to reduce my expenses to around $100 to $200 for food plus transport, everything safe until like super, super sweet, right? Then it becomes like, okay, even if I have a $3,000 salary, right, I can live for a whole year on this kind of expenses. So that was the thought process, is that I can give myself at least 1 to 2 years of time to figure this out. It doesn't matter, but I really wanted to jump out of it. Because this is a what if question. What if I didn't do this now, then next time I regret. Yeah. So I cannot live with that regret. So then let's go.
But I think he's like the new era, the male version of Budget Babe. So it's like, tell me a little bit, right? Because I mean, we've heard so many people say, you can live a frugal life, you can, cut your expenses and all that, right? The broad ideas are there, right? At some point, you're probably walking around, not even taking the bus, right? So that's how to spend 120, right? The mechanics are there. Right, you remove this, remove that. At some point of removal, it actually impacts your life, or your quality of life, or what people want to call quality of life. What's that experience? What's that thought process? What do you give up to live at 100 to 120?
I think at that time, what I gave up was experiences with my girlfriend. Yeah, because at that time we were just nice, we both graduate at the same time. She's also a physio. Then we both go and work at the same time. So you can imagine she has a nice full salary, and then my side is like, okay, let me just save up as much as possible. Then when we go on dates, then there'll be a bit of friction like, hey, come dear, we go to this cafe. Then I'm like, no let's go coffee shop, that kind of thing. So I think that created a little bit of that friction over there. Other than that, maybe time away from my friends and family also. Yeah, because when you want to dive into something new like this, then you also feel like, okay, everything else, quality of life is not even a question at that time, like, let me just push everything aside. Let me just dive straight into this. And then I just spend all my time doing it instead of, I guess, even thinking about all these things.
Laser focus, everything deprioritized. Okay, is your girlfriend still your girlfriend?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Still my girlfriend. Yes.
Wow. Tell me more then. Okay, so you compress your cost of living to like minimal, right? You deprioritize almost every other thing so that you can focus on day trading and quitting your job so that you can focus, essentially, right? Because there was so much pain at work. So how much capital do you have at that point in time, and what was the strategy, and what was that kind of process?
If I think about it, I think one of my downfalls was having no strategy for my trading, because I had almost this holy grail syndrome, right, where you feel like every time you lost trades is because of your trading system problem. So I jumped from trading system to trading system. I took so many trading courses as well, and I think that's the biggest thing that people usually go for as well, was that, wow, let me find a way to really uncover the secret to it. And then that was the start of the downfall, because everything don't make money. Then it's my trading system problem. Let me buy a new course. Let me go try something new. The lucky thing was I was trading with a small amount of money. So maybe like 1 to 3K, because I felt like I needed to try things out with this trading system first. If it works, then I all in that kind of thing. But it never came at a time where I all in, luckily, at that time.
At what point did you call it quits in terms of this trading thing?
I think that was around 1.5 to 2 years in of doing this.
So you live on $100 for 1.5 to 2 years.
Yeah.
And your girlfriend is still around.
Yes. Around the 1.5 to 2 year mark was when I called it quits. And I reached a point where I realized how difficult it is to, in a way, I was pursuing like entrepreneurship, earning your own money, and it's harder than what people would think. Everybody thinks they're trading a 9 to 5 or like a flexible work hours. I can work anytime I want. What nonsense, It's just you're trading it for 24/7. The first thing I think about when I wake up is this, and the last thing before I sleep is this as well. Like, there's no end in between because there's no definite start or stop. So it's very difficult when you don't put boundaries around it. Right? It's really very difficult, and to earn money yourself, it's different from going to be a salaried worker. Being a salaried worker is like damn easy when you really think about it. Whether you are good or bad, you just don't need to be so bad at your job, right? And you will just still earn the same amount of salary at the end of the day, That's where I realized every single day I was plagued with thinking about money. I was anxious, I was worried. And then I felt almost like lesser of a man at that point in time. Yeah. It's not like, now it's all the gender equality and all that kind of thing. And you don't have to provide for your girlfriend anymore, right? You can split money and everything. But somehow deep down, I still felt like, it was a lot to process at that moment. And then I felt like, okay, I've given it a try. It doesn't mean I have to quit now, but I definitely need to get my mental side of things back into play, which means that I needed to humble myself, go back into my physio job. That I told all my friends, right, that I'm never going back to physio again, like, you can stay in physio. I'm just going to become a millionaire day trader doing this thing, And then after that, cannot make it, then let me go back into like physio again.
Wow, I hear you, I feel the pain. But tell me a little bit, that sunk cost fallacy is a big thing, right? Maybe at the last few months of what you were doing, there was also that whole sunk cost element to that, right? Like I really put in so much effort, this thing is not working, let me just go a little bit further. At some point, it will tip, right? So you found a tipping point, but kind of how did you manage that whole, for lack of a better way to put it, identity plus emotion, that whole spiel to, say like, okay lah, go back and get a physio job, man. For people that have not been through that, it's actually probably quite hard, emotionally, I've been through all sorts of crazy things. I believe there's some level of that. So can you comfortable to talk a little bit about that?
I think probably there was a lot of emo moments by myself, a lot of like talks with my girlfriend, my mom, my family, you need to also understand that all this decision that you make, right, also affected the people around you, Like my parents, obviously they are worried, right? They put you through uni and then you do this stupid kind of thing and then drop out. I finished it but I kind of quit work and then kind of go back to doing all these things. So I think after you go through all these things and I see how much daily sort of worries I have, it really reached a point where I couldn't function properly even in my own trading kind of hours when I was like supposed to be working, right? Then it just didn't make sense to continue, because I also had the point where I told myself I would give myself 1.5 to 2 years as well. Then I'm hitting that mark already, man. And then once I hit that mark, then what can I do? I still have savings to continue, but mentally I was not in a good space. So it didn't make sense already, man. You have to, at that point in time, sort of humble yourself and say, okay, let me take a step back. How can I best continue this again? I need money. So if I have money from a full-time job, it helps me to settle all the mental stuff. Then if I want to do day trading again, then let's go lah, right? Then that makes more sense. Now at least, like you said, if you have a proper trading system or like a proper way of doing it, then maybe that's a better way for me. I needed the security of a full-time job to really transition properly. And that security that I lacked was really what I really craved for. So I needed to go back into that.
Tell me a little bit more about then. Okay, after that, you get back to your job, and then how did your kind of ideas change, and how did your career progress from there?
Wow, I was quite lucky then, because I knew I didn't want to get back into the public hospitals at that time. So then I was looking for jobs in the private side. And then luckily I had an ex-colleague who was working in the clinics that I'm currently in. And then I just messaged him, like asked him whether is there opening, can I join and everything. And then finally after I joined, then I realized that, actually physio salary not bad. I didn't know that before. So, but only in the private side. If you're the public side, maybe you have to wait a couple more years before you hit that level. But private side is almost as if you're doing sales to a certain extent because you earn commission based. Yeah. So then,
how much are you making an hour now?
An hour, I think around 80 plus, 90 plus. Yeah, somewhere
everything
around
you take, or you got split
No. So it's like the boss takes the most amount, of course, because he gives you everything, right? Like patient, the environment, everything. But yeah, you do earn a good salary as long as you're willing to chong. Like bosses love this kind of people. You're willing to chong, you're able to earn at least 10, 12K a month, no problem.
So that's your current salary?
Yeah.
The story goes that after that you muscle your way back into the industry, but in a tangential way through the private healthcare space, right? Then your income, probably there's a ramp up, right? So you ramp up, right? And as you ramp up, your ideas probably will change, right? So I think most people go through this process, right? As your income moved, as your surplus grow, your ideas will change, right? So how did that kind of move along?
It changed in a way almost as if I started working a lot at that time. Anyway, every time you start something new, the learning curve always very steep one. So you must be at that moment and push. Again, the quality of life is not a question at this point again.
Do you have quality of life now?
Now, yes.
Okay.
Yes. At that time when you really have to just push everything, right? And then I think I pushed until the point where I really burnt out a little bit, where I was working too much again. That's where I started the second YouTube channel, almost as if it's an escape from this all over again. And then I was like, what's happening? Why am I trying to escape one more time? Also because I think maybe at the time we went Japan, and then I brought this very nice book along. I think it was by Amy Porterfield. The title was 2 Weeks Notice. So just like what it is, it means to put in your 2 weeks notice to your job and to create something that can get you out of your job. Maybe I shouldn't be reading that kind of books, but yeah, that was the book that really inspired me. And one of the main things she said was content, creating a personal brand. Something like that would be very, very helpful for you no matter what you do in the future. So, okay, start first. Then come back from Japan immediately, maybe quarter life crisis. Let's go, start the YouTube channel.
Then how did that kind of come along then with the channel? And the way you manage money.
With the channel and everything, I realized one of the main things that come was that money is of course a very great thing. When you come into more money, you have a lot more comfortable kind of life. And the amount of security and freedom that you get, you don't even need to spend the money. Just merely having the money, I think is where the power is rather than spending the money on something. And then I realized that, okay, same thing, I actually don't need a lot to spend on. But of course I'm spending a lot more now than last time. 100, 200, not anymore.
For context, say how much are you spending now? What's the breakdown?
Personal expenses plus, let's say, YouTube expenses, all that kind of thing in maybe most of the time is around 3K a month. Yeah. But then I think my horizons has changed quite a bit as well. I'm investing more for the long term rather than the short term instead. And one of the biggest things I'm trying to do now is that I've been relatively successful in physio, but now I'm trying to be successful in other areas as well, which is why I'm investing so much time, energy, and money into like YouTube and side hustles, learning about all these different things. Because the biggest thing you can invest in, right, is like your own money earning potential. If you have that, right, investing is for the poor. You don't need this kind of thing anymore. You really just need to find a way that you can earn money consistently every kind of month. And then you'll be fine. Yeah. Why do you need to worry about next time you have 2 million, 3 million, 4 million? It doesn't matter anymore, right? If you have something that can sustain you all the way, like YouTube can be something next time I'm 50 years old, I on the camera, I talk, wow, okay, then every month I get $2,000-$3,000. Then okay, right? Doesn't matter. As long as you're investing in yourself to be able to earn that amount of money, right? It really doesn't matter. But with that amount of money, of course, it also helps me to compound my investing a lot more. If having additional $2,000-$3,000 every month you put into your investment portfolio, over 30 years, you're going to have a lot more money.
Hey Coconuts, I'm very excited to introduce you to the latest offerings from WorldFirst. WorldFirst is an all-in-one business account that fuels your business worldwide. Their latest product, the World Card, is a multi-currency business card that allows you to get unlimited 1.2% cashback on all your business spend. If you use it on Meta Ads, Google Ads, ChatGPT, Salesforce, and more, you get additional benefits. Of course, subjected to change, terms and conditions apply. But more importantly, if today you are looking to start your business, whether it's in retail, e-commerce, or B2C, WorldFirst is your partner. Check them out, link in the description below, and back to the show. I don't think it is a counter the culture today, or the mainstream narrative is you have a full-time job and then you do some side hustles on the side and then you invest, right? Or at least that's in the FIRE, personal finance type of corner of the internet lah, which is all of you, right? So it's quite normal. But I do want to hear a little bit about like the thought process, right? You have a stable income, doing decent. You may be a little burnout. You could have always scaled it back and do something else, on the side, not to make money, right? Just to kind of like rejuvenate, and stay sane, right? I think a lot of people do that, right? Do something else just to kind of manage the mind a little bit, right? But you did something else, but you also thought of how to make money out of it. Right? So tell me, like what's that thought process? Because you see the problem, right? Because you squeeze something to the maximum, take it to the extreme, and then you do make good money, but you stress out about it.
Yep.
Then you tarik a little bit, you go to the next thing, and you squeeze it out to the extreme. So the cycle will
Continues.
not stop, or at least that's how I prophesize what I'm hearing lah. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more your thought process.
It's actually interesting you say that, because with YouTube now, I'm actually working even more hours than,
I'm sure.
than last time. But I think the difference is that because every time you have this like nice job with good salary, right? The difference is it's difficult to tarik it. You cannot like tell your boss, okay, I work half day can already. Half day enough salary to, live life. Right? A lot of corporate people also cannot do that. Maybe you hit a 15, 20, 30K salary, right? Then you tell your boss, okay, now I'm only going to do 15K worth of work. You just pay me 15K can already. Then I go home like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, that kind of thing. Nobody will do that, yeah. So for me, in a way, almost as if I'm crafting my own escape route. Right? That way comes more from having more money through other things like my YouTube channel, for example. So if my YouTube channel, let's say, can earn 5, 10K a month, that kind of thing, then I'll be more open to, I haven't had this conversation with my boss yet, but maybe I'll have a conversation with him, but let me scale back my hours. I'll have more quality of life. I'll be happy. I can go to the gym, that kind of things. Then with that money that I have from YouTube, right, I'll be more comfortable having that conversation with him. Then if he say no, then okay lah. Then I just do my own thing lah. Either I go to other clinics or I find my way to scale my YouTube channel in that sense. But it gives me more freedom to choose what I want to do, when I want to do, with the money that I can currently have lah.
So it's finding another route. But that's not to say YouTube is a great money earning mechanism. The numbers is not on your side, right? There's an apex to this thing, right? So I would recommend most of you not to do it. But you can always find other things, right? Ultimately, I think the theory is, you have multiple sources of income, then it kind of empowers you to, switch and mix and, have a little bit more control on that front. Tell me more then, like your money, how you manage it and that whole thing. Because I think you did do a little breakdown on your channel. So, how did that shift and how are you doing your money today?
Saving of money, I am more looser with my money now, actually. Funnily, because I realized when I was keeping myself on, even when I was earning like 10K or more, right? Then I realized I kept a super tight leash on my money, because last time I can live on $100, $200. So I only maybe increase it to maybe $300, $400. But yeah, I realized I had to live a bit lah, go for experiences. I started to save a lot less. Not that I'm saving a lot, like not I'm saving very little every month, but I started to spend more money on like food, go travel, go these kind of things. Then it makes you a little bit happier as well. Gives you a bit more perspective of the world as well lah. Yeah, the fact that you can go on this kind of travel is actually a very nice luxury that if you have money, then you should go lah, But with that being said, then it also pour in towards the investing side of things, where I'm looking towards longer term investing. My portfolios shifted to become like, I have one sort of like almost like a day trading. But I realized a lot of people, they have that itch to scratch. Like the day trading itch is present in a lot of people. It's not rocket science, you just invest in the S&P 500. Then the whole personal finance guru channels can just shut down it. Everybody just do that. What else is there left to do, right? There's nothing left to do. The thing is, people have itchy fingers to have to trade and to have to buy something in a hotter stock. So you need to have a portfolio like that, right? To scratch that itch. But that portfolio cannot be too big. If you're not zai, like maybe like Don or anything, like budget big, right? Then just chill out. Yeah, just use a small amount of money. Just be happy that you're maybe investing into Nvidia, Google. I'm not saying, just don't go and do this kind of thing.
This is not financial advice.
Yeah.
Yes.
But any of these companies that you feel like, wow, got potential, then you believe in your gut feeling or whatever it is, just invest a small amount of money inside. Then you see how it goes lah. At least you scratch both itch at the same time. Because one of the main things that happened, right, that changed that whole day trading journey for me, right, is I actually had a portfolio, a long-term portfolio at that time. I didn't touch that portfolio for 2 years. That portfolio grew like 5-10x. But my freaking day trading portfolio just kept going down. That obviously pointed me to a reasonable area, is that the long-term investing is so much more fuss free and you can earn so much more money because you're investing so much more money into it. Even if returns is something people always say like 8 to 10% or anything like that. If you earn 10% on like $100,000, that's 10K a year. If you only, let's say, day trade with like $2,000, for example, then how much returns can you get? Can you get 10,000 worth? You need to earn a lot of money to hit that 10,000. So I think looking in terms of that perspective and splitting my each into those two portfolios, right, really, really helped me a lot.
Your long-term portfolio 5-10x in 2 years. What, you QQQ X3?
Bitcoin.
It's okay. Maybe highlight what's your composite of your current long-term portfolio.
I think now percentage-wise, crypto a bit too big because it has boomed quite a lot in the coming years. But crypto is the majority of my portfolio right now. I would say maybe 70% is crypto. I'm trying to do my best to rebalance it, but then I can't possibly be selling crypto. So I'm pumping more money into the stocks and equity side of things. Yeah, so I'm slowly trying to build that and also trying to build like my options portfolio that I have, which is that more day trading sort of side of things.
Despite all the messaging by the government and all that, you still hold your long-term positions on crypto. Just so I understand, it's a thing. People, quite a lot of people do hold a decent sized portfolio in crypto. So just want to hear your point of view.
I haven't even thought about crypto for a long time because this was just a thought that I had last time, was that it was a rash thought plus a objective thought at the same time. Because I knew that crypto was something that was very shady, like maybe 5-8 years ago. It was not really highly adopted, but there was already a lot of buzz around it. But then I felt like, okay, at that time I had 20K to my name. And then I was like, okay, just put 10K in. Like, it doesn't matter, right? If I go bankrupt, whatever, I can earn 20K back, no problem. Yeah, even though my salary low, but I have nothing but time. So just put money into it. And I think even something like that that's super highly risky, highly volatile, if I did everything all over again now, I wouldn't obviously put half my net worth into crypto. That was for sure, right? Because you cannot live your life like that. Every day you check the fluctuation, right? You go crazy, If you put in like, I don't know, 100K, 200K, and then you see the fluctuation was crazy. Even at times where it boomed so much last time, right? I couldn't sleep so many nights because the portfolio of just $10,000, it reached like almost $100,000. Then I was like, every night I wake up, it could be a 10, 20K kind of jump. And that's crazy. And I think you should always invest a small amount of money into something that's super volatile just to test the waters. I mean, if you're super confident, go more. Yeah. But otherwise, there's no harm in investing in more things. It's just that the things that maybe a bit more risky, a bit more volatile, it's just asset sort of relocation in that sense. You cannot put all your eggs into that one. That's it. Everything else you can put Just that one, if you want to participate a bit, that's fine.
I remember I watched one of your recent videos and you were trying to break down for your audience, where are you getting your money from, different piles. And I was like, this guy is everywhere. Other than crypto, walk us through where are you doing all these other things and why are you so like, a little bit here, a little bit there, just so I get your point of view.
Because I think now I only have the options portfolio. I have a long-term S&P 500 portfolio, and then I have crypto. I have a good sum in mostly the banks, but more because preparing for house, reno, all that kind of thing. Yeah, if not, otherwise that one will be, I think, more or less inside the S&P 500 already. Yeah, but that's why everything is everywhere, because now I have a lot of big ticket items coming up. Yeah, so I cannot the money cannot be in these kind of risky things. It has to be safe as I can sleep at night.
Yeah, like you said, right? You have some big ticket items coming. Maybe you can kind of give us a bit of idea on that front, and then how do you then decide, the money, and meanwhile while you're waiting, what do you do with it?
The biggest thing that would come would be my house. So we're getting a resale HDB. So then the biggest things to think about would be I think CPF still okay, is the amount that you have to pay for your renovation. This was actually an interesting thing I read from The Psychology of Money. There was a very nice rule that the author was saying to use a margin of error. So whatever you think that you save for, right, and you think you save enough, right, is probably not enough. Yeah. So you need to have a bit of a safety net. So for me, it's around like a 20 to 30% kind of thing. So whatever, I think back then I was saving for my house, I think I was saving about 70,000 for the house reno. So then now I bump it up to maybe around like 90K instead. So in case I'm wrong, in case I want something a bit more expensive in the house or my girlfriend wants, then I can still pay for it. Right? And if you have any leftovers at the end, then I just invest after that. Yeah. But there's no harm in having more money because that gives you the freedom of choice.
But there's a drag on capital, right?
Of course.
right? So how do you then kind of manage this thought process?
I used to be the kind of person where every dollar that I have, right, I want to invest it because that would be the biggest return. After a while, you realize that the most freedom comes, right, having enough money, right, to be able to do whatever you want to do. Which means today I don't want to work, I don't want to work. It doesn't mean that I have to quit my job, but just having the psychology, right, that I can quit my job whenever I want. I've always with this person. I don't want. I can, right? Because I have enough money to fund my life or, even pivot and transition into different things. I think that one is life-changing.
You don't need to optimize everything for you, right? Essentially, that's the thought process. Okay. So this 90K capital size that you have for home rental, is it your own? Or is it
My own
shared?
money. My own money.
So how are you then, managing that money, that particular pool? Since you know that it's coming up, like where you putting this money?
I think a big portion is in the UOB1 bank account. So a high interest bank account. They are revising the rates again. But yeah, it is what it is. In fact, I was a bit late to it because last time the rates damn good, like 5%. And then now, like every time I go in, it keeps getting lower and lower.
It's tied to interest rates, guys, right? As interest rates come down, the cost of capital to the bank is lower and lower and lower. So when they so-called borrow money from you, because when they pay your interest rates on your deposit, they're essentially borrowing your money to do something else, right? So as much as it's not a fixed D, truth of the matter is there's a stickiness to it, right? So if I pay you 3%, you will put your money there, you're less inclined to move it, right? Unlike a fixed structure, yes, but you're less inclined. So all the stats are there, right? So with that, then they take your money to go and issue all the credit lah. So they make the spread, right? But as interest rates come down, this thing will keep coming down. I guarantee you, right? So
I think you just need to settle a few important things. Number one is I need this money to be liquid. Hence, I keep it in a bank account. I can also keep it in other things like, let's say, other brokers, they have money market funds, right?
All those,
but what if the brokers tow? Last time I put my crypto in FTX as my way of diversification. I diversified to FTX. Wow. But it's okay, water under the bridge. I got back that money already, so it's okay.
Oh, you still managed to get back? Through the liquidation process, they managed to pay you? Wow.
Correct. But they liquidate my Bitcoin at a very low price, like 10 plus K.
Okay.
It could have been like 10x now, so whatever, it is what it is, right? It's a crypto kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then I cannot take this chance. What am I going to tell my girlfriends? Like, if one of the exchanges tow, right, and then my 90K just gone, what can I do? But otherwise, you see, even if I put in the money market funds, maybe I get like 0.5% more. Is that worth the kind of risk I take? If the whole thing tow, right, then how? Yeah, but the bank tow, a bit hard lah.
You're not projecting it to be going out for a year or longer, right? It's a matter of months.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So that 0.5% in a matter of months to you is marginal. There's no need to take that risk. Okay.
I don't think I can sleep at night if I put it into the the money market funds.
That's interesting because money market fund is perceived as like very safe, right? But from your point of view, there is still counterparty risk, right? When it comes to the brokers not keeping up their promise, right? Then there may be a delay. You may get back your money, but the liquidation process is going to kill you, right? And then you will drag on and all that.
The FTX one, it was like last year. It happened so long ago. I can't even remember when it happened, but I only got back the money early this year.
Actually, can you tell me a little bit that process? When it happened, then all the way until you get back your money, like what went through that whole process?
At that time, luckily, I think the thing is your investment will be a lot more sound and a lot more stable, right? If you have a good security or even a good safe paying job or even just regular income then you can invest without having these kind of like weird thoughts, Last time, if I was day trading and this thing happened to me, right, I think I'll be destroyed. Like the thought process will be gone. But because you have regular income, it doesn't affect your life. So that's how you should make investing like fast free, like don't need to think about these kind of things. But at that time when it happened, I was like, are you kidding me? Like everyone endorsed for it. Kevin O'Leary came out to talk about it. The whole world came out to talk about it. Then, FTX tow. There was so much endorsement from everywhere. Even the government was putting in money and everything, Then it just suddenly tow, right? Then a good thing was I only put a small portion out to put into FTX. Then I was like, cannot be that sway, but like it just gone. And I thought I already chose one of the safer platforms because these few years got quite a lot of platforms tow, right? After that it happened, then I was like, damn sway. And then actually when you go and see, right, number one is you don't know how long it will take for the money to come back. And number two, right, they will also show you your agap portfolio size. That means they will tell you how much money is inside because they liquidate at what price. Then you see that, you don't know whether you get even more annoyed, right, or happy that you're getting back money. I think I got back around $5,000-6,000 US, around there. But they liquidated my Bitcoin at like 15K. Yeah. Bitcoin is like 115K now, wow. I was like...
So they just write whatever number they want, they rationalize it, and then you get back your 5,000-6,000. Essentially, that's the idea.
Correct, lor. Yeah.
You weren't very participatory in the liquidation process. It's just that there's a you activated it, and then there was like a whole process that kept happening. You're just a bit based on that they come back such a small size relative to the current value of what was originally there.
It's a very tedious process as well. They send you email, you need to log in, you need to make sure you say that who you are and everything, send all these documents and all, right? Then every few months keep doing this back and forth, right? Because they got so many steps to clear, right? To make sure you legit and they legit also, Then at the same time, right, I'm sure there's a lot of scam email that keep putting up the FTX. Wow, I'm like, I need to make sure it's the correct one somewhere, So after a one-time thing like that, that's why I don't dare to put my money into money market funds, because you go through that whole process one time, right? You're like, now it's 90K. I cannot do this anymore. Yeah.
That's such a good story. Thank you. Because I think often we underprice the counterparty risk, right? So your money is there. Yes, it is. What do they escrow? Is it, or like they kind of separate it? Yes, it's true. But when you go through this liquidation process, it drags out. There's a negative carry on the capital, and then it creates all these other pains. So ultimately, I think it's a good checkpoint in the current development of financial brokers and some of these like digital platforms to understand that it's not just about the cheapest is better, because they will always be cheaper, right? Just for customer acquisition as a strategy, they'll give you more as a customer acquisition strategy, but at some point, I think you're really not optimizing for that little bit of alpha, right? You just want, the defense mechanism become more important, right? Than simply just offense. Okay, fair. Any last things you want to share, with the audience when it comes to personal finance or investment? I know I never asked you about insurance, because we just want to focus on, different guests. I'll have a different focus, but just if you have any other things that you want to, share with the people after doing all this crazy thing for so long. It's been 10 years of craziness.
It is.
Right?
I'm sure it'll be another 10 years of craziness.
Please don't, relax, right? Yeah.
Actually, sometimes I always say or feel like when I say these things on my YouTube channel, right, I don't think the 20-plus-year-olds will understand what I'm saying. Because if I went back in time, right, I'll probably ask any of these people, right, to just F off, because I wouldn't listen to these people, right? You need to, some things, right, you need to go through first-hand experience, right, to learn the lessons yourself, then you understand. But with that being said, if there are any 20-year-old out there who are willing to listen, right, then I would say, right, you must, widen your time horizon for what you want to invest in, because it's going to be a long-term journey anyway. You're not going to touch that money for a while. The things that really paid off quite a bit was always investing, like very cliche, but investing back into myself. Even my own YouTube channel and everything, I just invested 10K into a YouTube mentor, and I also spent like almost 10-20K on editing services. So, in 2 years, I already spent like 20+K just all throwing out money just to make sure my YouTube business takes off. But on the chance that it does, hopefully it does. On the
you
chance that it does,
pay me that 10-20K. I teach you how to. I make sure you work. But anyway,
but it's crazy if my YouTube channel is able to scale to almost like a 3-4K a month, right? It's like you have that money for the rest of your life. In essence, it's almost as if investing into that money earning potential, the skill that you can use to earn money forever. I think that's more important than that 8-10% in the S&P 500. Of course, long-term portfolios still have, but that side of things I would invest a lot more heavily if I went back in time.
Thank you for sharing. Appreciate your candor. If our audience would like to connect with you, where's the best place?
Actually, you can find me on YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Xuan Kai. Instagram would be a nice place as well. But yeah, my handle is not Xuan Kai, but it's actually more the kind man today. More because I wanted to be that kind man in people's life in that sense. But yeah, you can find me there as well.
Thank you. If not, I think his YouTube, there's a description there. That's kind of how I found, Instagram. So yeah, thank you for your time. Appreciate the candor. And I hope you learned something interesting today. I really enjoyed today's conversation. Although I have talked to many, many people, I think it's good to continue to expand and talk to more interesting people. So if you have anybody that you think I should talk to, in the realm of personal finance and all that good stuff, put in the comment section and we'll try to hunt the person down, right? Say, oh, by popular demand, right? We'll hunt the person down. So meanwhile, if you like the podcast, please put your email address for us at thefinancialcoconut.com so that we can route out of the algorithm and reach you directly. Fighting the algorithm is a very tiring exercise, right? So we just want to work on your interests. We want to connect with you more directly rather than competing with the algo. So with that, go to thefinancialcoconut.com, put your email address, and we'll see you at the next event. You stay updated on whatever that's coming up. We create so many interesting content. So yeah, with that, that's all for today's Chills with TFC. We'll see you at the next episode. Bye-bye.